what is your plan to protect Texas from the unconstitutional actions of the EPA?
I introduced a bill, House Bill 1751, that would provide for an orderly and way that we could quickly respond by passing a resolution of the House and the Senate. The governor wouldn't even have to sign it. That would recognize unconstitutional overreach. I think it's an overreach them defining the ditch out there as a navigable river. That's just wrong. They shouldn't control that. We need to stand up. There's ways we can do that. The bill authorized non-compliance, first of all. We're just not going to help them enforce it. We don't believe it's law. We believe it violates our Bill of Rights. Article 1, Section 29 says that those kind of laws are to be void. And this is a bill, a procedure where we could recognize that overreach. But also we could go farther and we could interpose. And we could authorize the sheriffs all over the state, not just one here, one there, who happen to interpret it that way, but where we could stand up and stand between the coal-powered electrical generating plant or your home when they came to take your firearms. And so this bill just recognized our constitutional remedy of those statutes being void and would allow us an orderly way to deal with them. I would continue to promote that, and that was one of the ways we could deal with unconstitutional overreach. How much time we got, Jeremiah?
3 seconds.
All right. Well, just one other thing. Right to life. First bill I filed was a bill to defund Planned Parenthood in my freshman session. I also filed a bill to deal with if Roe versus Wade is overturned, that our bills, our legislation recognizing regulating abortion would not be used to countenance abortion.
I agree. I think we have to, when it comes to the EPA, you know what? We have to use every tool in the box. Whether it be passing some type of law locally, whether it be nullification, whether we instruct our sheriff's department or other agencies to just completely ignore it. I think we have to take a firm footing. The EPA is completely out of control. When I flew hovercraft out of Camp Pendleton, it's a game preserve. It's a 100 square mile game preserve. You could not kill a rattlesnake that was ready to strike somebody, another Marine or sailor, unless you could prove and had witnesses that there was no doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it would have actually bitten them. That's ridiculous. We had white-footed field mice, and the reason they're even endangered is because they're not just a field mouse that is different than every other field mouse. They just reclassified them so it would make them endangered. And we had field mice running. You could stand in the hallway and they're running through the overhead while you're standing there talking. And you couldn't put even a little sticky pad out. You know why? You couldn't put a mousetrap because the mousetrap would kill them. You put a sticky pad out. Well, we found out, it pulls their little feet off. That means they're not white-footed anymore. But they didn't appreciate that. The EPA is out of control. We've seen situations where people walked out of their cabins, out of their homes, and they were being charged by a bear. And they shot the bear. But yet the EPA came after them. I know of one gentleman who had a pond that he opened up to the public. And he let these environmentalists come in, and they saw that he had what they believed was an endangered snail. So they fenced off the pond and refused to let him have access to his own pond while they sat there and picnicked. The EPA is out of control. We need to do everything possible to do away with what I will classify as a Nazi organization. Thank you.
Let's talk about real EPA overreach right here where we live, because it's happening. It's not just stories from around the world. It's right here. How many of us recall a few years ago when the EPA proposed this new cross-state air pollution rule. And here's what they said. They said this with a straight face. They said they had found that one sensor in Granite City, Illinois, detected some ozone that came from a coal plant in Mount Pleasant. I know, I don't know how they thought they knew that's where it came from, but based on that, I'm not kidding, based on that, they said Texas will be under now this cross-state air pollution rule, which again would have shut down the plants in Mount Pleasant and Fairfield, raising our race cost in these jobs. So what I called on the Attorney General, then Greg Abbott, to sue. Of course, he'd already done it. He was already on top of it. Many times Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton are criticized for these lawsuits. They say, well, you file these lawsuits and never go anywhere. That's not the case. This lawsuit against the EPA over the cross-state air pollution rule, we won. We beat them back. And now we're doing the same thing. And again, I've got to tell you, I'm so thankful to be a lawyer and to get to represent people suing the Obama EPA. It's one of the highlights of my career to get to do this. And what we're suing now is over this proposed so-called Clean Power Plan. And the Obama administration has made no bones about the fact that they want to shut down coal-fired power plants. And this is so foolish. If you compare us to other nations and you look at all the fuel sources, all the different ways we can generate power, coal is the one fuel that America is number one. We've got more coal than anybody else. It's clean, it's cheap, it's reliable. And the Obama administration wants us to unilaterally disarm. And so do we pass bills to stop them? Yes. We do everything we can. But I'm so glad to tell you, I'm not just talking about what we can do, I'm talking about what I have done. I've got a lawsuit against them right now. We expect to win that suit, and we'll sue them again and again and again if we have to, till we stop them messing with our jobs and our utility rates.